My heart remains heavy, and I want to start by extending my condolences and prayers to the family, friends, and loved ones of Chatham County Commissioner Coach James Holmes. Coach Holmes, as you know, lost his battle with COVID-19 yesterday after spending several weeks in the hospital without being able to see any family or friends. Coach Holmes dedicated his life to others. As a county commissioner, as a program and physical education director at the Frank Callan Boys and Girls Club, assistant basketball coach at Savannah State, and head basketball coach at St. Pius X High School. I considered him a friend, brother, mentor, a confidant, and I will forever be grateful for his constant encouragement and support throughout my employment at Chatham County government and throughout my political career. Coincidentally, we began our political careers at right about the same time. His legacy will live throughout the lives he has touched and the programs that he has shaped in our community. I ask Savannahans to pray for his wife Yvonne, 5 grown children, 16 grandchildren, 10 great-grandchildren, his colleagues on the Chatham County Commission, Team Chatham, and the residents of District 12 through District 2 that were blessed to have him serve them for 16 years. His passing from us is a stark reminder that COVID-19 statistics represent real people, real lives in our community, people we know, people we love. The list of COVID-19 victims grow, and its arc reaches closer and closer to us. It becomes more and more real, more and more personal. This one is personal to me, and admittedly, this one hurts. Tybee Island had to close its city hall yesterday because of a positive COVID-19 case. As I understand it, it will remain closed until further notice. We wish that employee a speedy recovery, and we hope that no one else tests positive for COVID-19. I am announcing that based on our science, activities in the City of Savannah facilities are now canceled through October the 31st. We will reevaluate our status and decide at the beginning of October what we will do for the remainder of the year. Thanks to the city's partnership with Governor Andrew Cuomo and New York State, the City of Savannah was able to donate 2,500 COVID-19 test kits apiece to both the Curtis V. Cooper Primary Health Care Center and the J.C. Lewis Primary Health Care Center to help them to expand their testing capacity. These 2 healthcare centers have been boots on the ground in our neighborhoods, and we are glad to help them as they continue to help us. This partnership has been the gift for us that keeps on giving. This virus has completely changed our lives, and we're thankful for those who are doing what they can to keep others safe and to slow the spread, like washing their hands often, social distancing, and wearing masks. Health experts continue to show evidence that wearing a face covering is one of the best ways to slow the spread of COVID-19 and hopefully help us to save lives. It's real simple. If you're wearing a mask, you lessen your chance of getting COVID-19. You lessen your chance of getting COVID-19, the less chance you have going into the hospital for COVID-19. The less chance you have going into the hospital for COVID-19, the less likely you are to die from COVID-19. Just that simple. Savannah's mask mandate remains in place, and I'm grateful for Governor Kemp's newfound support for cities and counties that are requiring face coverings. Governor Kemp's order on Saturday confirmed what Savannah has known since July the 1st, that we have the ability, we have the responsibility, and we have the authority to enact mask mandates to protect our citizens. And although the governor's latest order indicates that masks cannot be ordered in private businesses, I will tell you, personally, I am not supporting any business that does not care enough about its employees and doesn't care enough about its customers to mandate masks in their facilities. That's my order. I don't have to go there. And for our citizens and for our visitors, if they don't care enough about you to protect you, if they don't care enough about their employees to protect them from you, then that may not be a place you need to go. That's why I salute local businesses like the Crystal Beer Parlor, the Savannah Bee Company, the Savannah Bell Boutique, and many others who have demonstrated they care enough for their employees and care enough about their customers to say very clearly that there no service, no mask, no service. And we need to follow that up. To clear up any confusion, masks are still required on trolleys, pedicabs, quadricycles, and horse-drawn vehicles. It is still in the public space, on public property, therefore our mandate stands. And so, since the issue of enforceability has been addressed, sworn city marshals, in addition to our Savannah Police Department, are out in the city now actively enforcing our mask order. And Chief Mentor and Susan Broker are here with us today. Our COVID-19 response team is activated and are busy around town making sure that people follow our mask order. As we've done from the beginning, they will ask you to put your mask on if you have it. If you're not wearing one, they will offer you a mask. And if you refuse to wear one or refuse to comply, you will receive a citation. And as many have said, and they're rightfully so, and I have witnessed, a mask ordinance does not have any teeth. It's ineffective if it's not being enforced. It's enforcement time. It's a simple thing we can do, hopefully, to put COVID-19 in our rearview mirrors faster. Starting today at 2:00 p.m., small businesses can apply for COVID-19 relief from the Small Business Assistance Corporation, or SBAC. The city allocated $2 million received in CARES Act funding to help the SBAC help small businesses in the city of Savannah to recover losses due to the current pandemic. Interested businesses can call 912-232-4700 or visit sbacsav.com, sbacsav.com, to learn more about the recovery loan options and apply for funding. Help is available for Savannah residents with past-due mortgages, rent, or utility assistance through the United Way of the Coastal Empire, and we are grateful for their partnership. The city allocated $3.3 million to the United Way to help pay balances accrued from March through August 2020 due to loss of income directly related to the COVID-19 pandemic. That is one of the requirements given to us as a condition of the funding. So for more information or to speak with a specialist, you can call 211, and I could do that in sign language, 211, did I say that right? 211. Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5:00 p.m. You can also apply online by going to savannahga.gov/CARES Act. savannahga.gov/CARES, C-A-R-E-S, Act, A-C-T. Both programs are only available to people and businesses within the Savannah city limits. We receive numerous calls and inquiries about assistance to those who live in other municipalities and in unincorporated Chatham County. A lot of calls, a whole lot of calls. We can only use Savannah's CARES allocation to benefit Savannah residents and Savannah businesses. So while we are usually quite generous to our neighbors in other municipalities and in the unincorporated county, this time, this unique time, we must insist on Savannah only as opposed to Savannah first. And so municipalities that are outside of the city of Savannah have received CARES funding too, And my suggestion is for you to contact your elected officials to see what they're doing with their CARES money. We've made it very clear and very public what we're doing with this round of CARES funding. We're splitting it 80% to our community and 20% for city operations. We're excited to get this money into the hands of those in our city who need it the most. And we know that the need is absolutely there. Last week, the Savannah City Council approved the guaranteed maximum price for the Savannah Arena at $147,583,181. $147,583,181. Did I say it right? I didn't. I said 147 million? Okay. All right. Huh?
First time you did.
All right. Well, I'm going to do it again right. $147,583,181. And that that does not include the soft cost, which will get us to the $160 million level. I think that the entire city council made it absolutely clear to our project team that we want Savannahans, people who live in Savannah, small Savannah businesses, and Savannah labor unions who will train and hire Savannahans working on the largest municipal project in Savannah's history. This mandate is non-debatable and non-negotiable. This is a legacy project in our city, and it must be treated as such. And so our city manager, I know, has been working diligently on that since last Thursday, and he will provide a report to council in 2 weeks at our next council meeting. It is also crunch time for the 2020 census. The deadline to complete the census is September 30th, and workers are now out in neighborhoods collecting information for those who have not responded as of yet. If you can fill it out yourself, then go ahead and do so. We need you to do so. It takes just a couple of minutes. Save yourself and save that census worker the trouble of coming to your home during a pandemic to do something that would have taken you 5 minutes. Go to my2020census.gov, my2020census.gov, or call 844-330-2020, 844-330-2020, and be counted. If you prefer to do it in Spanish, you can do it at 844-486-2020, 844-486-2020 in Espanol. Only 53.1% of our city is counted so far. That number is creeping up slowly, but we need your help to increase that number by the end of next month. If you are a neighborhood leader, if you're in a church or house of faith organization, if you're even doing Zoom happy hours with your friends, please make sure that your community, your friends, those within your sphere of influence complete the 2020 census. Talk to those who are close to you. As we post everything on social media, then make a post on social media. Let's get Savannah where she deserves to be, and that is on top. When we're all counted, we all benefit, and help us make sure that Savannah has what she needs for the next 10 years. Finally, I fully support the working men and women of the United States Postal Service. I thank them for what they mean to us and do for us in the city of Savannah. The mail is the way many receive their checks, the way that many small businesses conduct their business, and it's the way that we can stay in touch with the world and with each other. And I think that given all that's going on nationally, our local postal professionals need to hear that we appreciate them today and always. The Postal Service did not take a break during the pandemic. Remember that. When we talked about people doing work, and we talked a lot about police, and we talked about fire, and we talked about sanitation, and we talked about water treatment folks, and we've talked about a variety of individuals, healthcare professionals. We've talked about those in grocery stores, and we've talked about those who do transportation. But the fact of the matter is, every single day, the postal service was moving, and every weekday, well, 6 days out of the week, we still received mail. So I'm asking Savannahans, and again, while we may not have much to do with it on a national scale, when you see a postal worker, just tell them thank you. We appreciate you. So that ends my prepared comments, and I will entertain any questions you may have. And I'm sorry for the little different. We're trying to work some stuff out. And Emma is usually first, but I mean, it's up to you.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
Good morning.
My question for you, I know with the CARES Act money, you talked about, I want to say it was last week, that it has to be spent before September 1st. Are there any concerns about not being able to spend almost all of it like you were saying last week?
No, actually, I think that the city of Savannah has found a way that we'll be able to meet that deadline and get the money out there. Again, there's a lot of need out there, and people ask the question about why the United Way. The United Way has demonstrated through their own fund that they have the infrastructure needed. You know, we do city services. We don't have the infrastructure. We're not set up, and it's more than just giving money away. It's about verifying it because, of course, the money has to be used for specified sources. So it's about asking those questions. It's about the documentation. We want to make sure that for now and for future federal dollars that come in, that we're able to say very clearly, this is how we spent the money, this is who the money went to, and I think that's why we've used them. But I think we won't have a problem getting that money out. You know, again, I think Thursday night we had people calling, literally. So we want to get the help to where it needs to be, and I'm just grateful to United Way. I'm grateful to our nonprofit partners who are all gaining in. This is extra work for them, but at least it helps us, you know, to make sure that we're doing the most effective and efficient job we can.
And my only other question for you, and it's totally okay if you don't have these numbers in front of you, you've updated us on COVID-19 and Team Savannah in past weeks. Do you have those numbers for us possibly?
What do we have?
Up to 79 cases. I think currently
79 cases,
we got 31 out.
31 employees out.
Thank you.
Okay. And I think the other part about it is, I mean, we have to be somewhat selfish as well. Our employees are also part of the community. As community spread goes up, our employee spread goes up. And so therefore, we have to keep our employees safe so that they can serve. And that's also a big issue as well.
We've also tested over 700.
That's right.
employees.
We've also tested over 700 employees thus far. And we're only at 2,400 and
2185.
2185. I knew he would know that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Another questions? Thank you. Okay.
No.
Oh,
Yeah, good morning, all.
good morning.
So we talked about, under your mask mandate, those full-time citations, you deputized some city employees to give out citations.
They're already deputized.
Right. So now that you are starting the enforcements, is it enforcement time now because you have the support from Governor Kemp?
It's a mixture of both. For Savannah, enforcement meant we would offer you a mask. And so well over 2,000 masks have been given out. The goal here is not to be punitive. The goal here is for compliance. So, if we offer you a mask and you put it on, then that's enforcement. So I think, when people look at it in terms of tickets given, I think they're only looking at it at only half of the story. We have to look at how many masks have been given out. Now, obviously, people were going around, it's unenforceable, it's unenforceable, it's unenforceable. Well, I mean, I think it's kind of clear that it is enforceable. And so we will enforce it. But I think that we have to recognize it. I've spent the last couple of weekends downtown and in and around, and it's wild. It's just people, and again, we want to be reasonable. If you're walking by yourself, that's one thing. But if you're in a group of people, that's something totally different. And that's what we were seeing. We were seeing large groups of people gathered, congregating. Nobody has masks on. That's an issue for us. And those are the things you will start seeing us addressing more aggressively than we have in the past. We also recognize that colleges are back in town, And we recognize, I was watching something about UNC at Chapel Hill. Open up, had to close down because folks were coming back and they turned up. They were just having them the greatest time, and again, that's how spread happens. So for us, recognizing we have more people in our community, recognizing we are soon coming toward the end of summer holiday, we have to make sure we do all we can to keep our numbers in check.
Are you in contact with any of the college and university leaders to kind of help them as students come back?
I have not. I've talked with Savannah State, Georgia Southern earlier than that, but other than that, no. But we plan to. We just want to. Again, they're governed by other things, but I want to make sure that the city remains in good communication and good partnership with them. Because obviously, what happens on their campuses affects us in our city.
Mr. Mayor,
Amanda, you have a question?
you mentioned early on the October 31st city, did you say activities are canceled until that date?
Right.
What does that include?
Well, it includes, organized city activities have already been discontinued, but we're not issuing permits. We're not issuing, letting private groups have things on city facilities, which is essentially what we're talking about. Again, we have the responsibility, and again, we don't take this lightly, which is why we're being more incremental. That's why we're doing it based on what the science is. If we get to October and our numbers are better, then let's look at November and December. But it's already clear. We haven't had parades in our city. We've had some large events that clearly went a little contrary to what we were intending, and we realized that people come, we'll do the right thing, and then when they have it, it's something totally different. So I think it's wise for us just to make the decision to say, hey, we're not going to permit those type of activities.
Can you point to any specific that have been held that haven't met up to
No.
city standards?
No, but there's some that are concerning, and some actually that are going on now that are somewhat concerning to me that we'll address. In the end, it can't be no sacred cows. If we're going to be serious about keeping our community safe, then we have to do what it takes to keep our community safe.
Mr. Mayor, going off of that October 31st kind of threshold, obviously,
Maybe I'll do October 30th, so if things get better, then maybe we can do Halloween.
Obviously, that's roughly about 2 months or so. Would you say that having the city set that deadline, and do you really see no end in sight as of right now?
As a person of faith, I have to see it in this sight. If I thought that COVID-19 was going to be the end of me and the end of Savannah, I wouldn't even get out of bed in the morning. I get out of bed in the morning believing that there is an end. If we look back to 1918, there was an end to that. If you look at recessions and depressions, there was an end. So there is an end. We just have to get there. And our problem and my frustration has been that we've had problems getting there. And so I don't mean to be mean, and I don't mean to be ornery, and I don't mean to be to publicly disagree with folks. But we're literally in the fight for our lives. And my frustration with our state has been that seem to be in a constant race to be the worst. I mean, we were the last to close, and we were the first to open, and our numbers are going up. And the White House is saying you need to close. You need to close some businesses. The White House is saying you need to have a mask mandate, and it's not happening. And yet, we've been involved in this kind of structured cannibalism in our state for the last time when we should be focusing on dealing with COVID. We're fighting each other, and so I just want. I know it's important for Savannah for Georgia to be the best city. The best state in the country to do business. I want Georgia to be the best place to live. Strong people build strong businesses. And so if we get people strong, they will help strong businesses. And I think we've had that flipped, where we were so concerned about the business aspect that we forgot about that it's people that run businesses, people that staff businesses, people who come to businesses. And so we have done relatively well here in Savannah compared to other places. And that's because we put people first, and because we've worked with businesses to help put people first. And they have found that even in this hard time, they may not be optimally where they want to be, but they've been doing better than many of their counterparts across the country. We have to keep that partnership up. We have to keep following the science. We have to keep being very sober-minded and not panic, but yet continue to press the urgency. And so, Chief Mentor and Ms. Broker have a lot on their plate. Well, we're going to put some more on their plate because this is the fight for Savannah's future. I need to get I would love to be able to say, you know what, November, everything is good. You'll be able to do what you want to do, and because we've gotten COVID out of here. I would love to go home and see my parents. So.
One last thing, Mr. Mayor. Going back to the passing of Commissioner Holmes, do you believe this is an unfortunate reminder of how real this virus truly is here in Cobb County?
Absolutely. Coach Holmes, that I knew well and communicated with pretty regularly, was 82 years old, but a man in really good shape. I'm sure he could outrun me. I'm almost sure he could. Yet, he may not be able to outrun Pat, but he certainly could have outrun me. And yet it shows you that someone that is going about his business one day is next thing you know is in the hospital for 17 days. 17 days. And the most heartbreaking thing about that is when I initially spoke with his wife about the commissioner being in the hospital, the frustrating thing was she could not go see him. She could not see him. And she's in the medical field. She could not see him. And this is the experience of people all over the country that deals with COVID. That when you go in the hospital with a COVID diagnosis, really, if you go in the hospital for anything, you can't see your loved ones. And so this man who was so beloved, this man who gave his whole adult life in mentoring other people's children, in spreading seeds around Savannah, in growing men now who are grandfathers themselves, who showed them the importance of teamwork and sportsmanship. But this man died alone. Nobody to hold his hand. He died alone with nobody to tell him that everything is going to be all right. That's what COVID means. That's when it becomes very, very real. And but for the grace of God, any of us could find ourselves in that situation. And that's why it's so important for us to do 3 simple things. Wear a mask, socially distance, wash your hands. I can't see what is so difficult about that. But then people, you're not going to make me do that. I mean, to me, it's asinine. But then we complain why we are still in the situation that we're in. I'm tired of COVID-19. I'm tired of it. But I recognize that until we all do what we can do, because in this case, we're all COVID-19 fighters. And until we all do what we can do, COVID-19 will be sitting at our Christmas table. And I don't want that. I'm sorry. It's just frustrating. Frustrates the crap out of me. It really does. Any other questions? Don't think I'm upset at y'all, so y'all looking at me kind of crazy now. No questions? You have to ask a question. Or you can't. You have to ask a question. You can't come back here.
Just kidding. Okay, here's my question. I'm just kidding. Come on. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding.
And that's actually the best question. That's actually a very good question because it raises another point. The White House has indicated that certain types of businesses should be closed. And that's all in the report. Again, Georgia is on the national radar. If our numbers continue to grow, then the science will dictate that we have to close those certain types of businesses. And I'm sure that there is a number, and I do not know what it is, that if we get to a certain point, that we would have to go back to some type of stay-at-home order or some type of business shutdown. That is not what we want. That it's not. And I don't want to get there. And believe it or not, I really don't want to know the number because I will be watching it every day. We just have to do the right thing. We can avoid getting there. Mask actually, somebody told me the other night, they said, oh, you know, you're restricting my freedom by wearing. No, actually, a mask provides freedom. That's how you're able to go and be and hang out and do what you want to do, because the mask allows you to be able to do that and gives people the confidence that you're protecting them from you. And so you get to go to the places you want to go. A shutdown protects everybody. That gives freedom to no one as well. So I'm hoping that we will take heed, and that will be my clarion call, and I'll continue to say it, that, you know, masks work. And so I believe now that a bunch of other municipalities and counties across the state will now enact mask mandates. The important thing, Savannah was the first.
Have you been in contact with any nearby municipalities about potential mask mandates?
I have been in contact with municipalities throughout the state, not necessarily anybody here locally, but across the state. Again, people have been watching internationally about what Savannah has done in terms of that. We don't take any credit for it except that we were following the science. I think for us, that's been the most defensible way in what we do. We've taken people out of it. We don't deal with politics of it. We don't deal with the personalities of it. We deal with the science. And where the science leads us is where we'll go. And so to that end, I want to again extend my thanks to Dr. Davis and the Coastal Health District for continuing to be our partners. And then folks across the country that are epidemiologists and infectious diseases professionals that continue to give us guidance as it relates to this. Thank you. See, that was a good question. All right. As always, may God bless you. May God bless Savannah. And again, our Chief Mentor, Ms. Broker, are here. If you have questions about enforcement, they'll be able to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.